Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We dive into one of the most shocking and mind-blowing discoveries in modern coin collecting, because today we are talking about the 1980 quarter dollar that collectors claim has reached an astonishing estimated value of $74 million due to a combination of rare errors, hidden mistakes, and extremely unusual minting possibilities that turned an ordinary circulation coin into one of the most desirable pieces in numismatic history. And as we explore this fascinating journey, you will see why this coin has captured so much attention, why collectors are constantly hunting for it in pocket change, why experts believe such a coin could exist, and how the smallest minting flaws, production anomalies, or metal composition mistakes can make something as common as a quarter transform into a treasure worth life-changing money. So let's begin by understanding how a simple coin from 1980, a year when millions of quarters were minted, could end up being considered one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever suspected to be out in the world, because the answer lies in the complex combination of errors that may have occurred during production, the possibilities of transitional planches, double strikes, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and even wrong metal compositions that slipped through unnoticed during the high-speed coin production environment of the Philadelphia Mint, which was producing coins rapidly to meet national demand, and in that environment a few coins with extraordinary mistakes could easily be created and accidentally released into circulation without anyone realizing the magnitude of their uniqueness. And the 1980 quarter dollar, according to numismatic rumors and expert discussions, may be one of those extremely rare pieces, particularly because 1980 was a year when the mint was experiencing changes in equipment, increased pressure for mass production, and occasional inconsistencies in metal preparation, meaning there were more opportunities for a strange combination of errors to occur at the exact same time on a single coin, which is something collectors refer to as a unicorn error, a type of mistake so rare and so specific that it appears maybe once in a generation, and that rarity is what pushes values into the tens of millions, because collectors understand that uniqueness, rarity, and historical significance all combine to form the foundation of high-value numismatics. So the possibility that a 1980 quarter exists with multiple stacked errors drives enormous speculation and excitement across the coin world, especially when it comes to errors such as off-metal planches, which means the quarter could have been struck on a metal blank intended for a different denomination like a cent or a dime, producing a coin with incorrect weight, sound, color, and composition. And these off-metal errors are among the rarest because they require multiple mistakes, the wrong blank entering the system, the dies striking it without rejection, and the quality control team missing it entirely, allowing it to escape into circulation. And if a 1980 quarter was struck on a copper cent planchet or perhaps even on leftover silver planches from decades earlier, its value would skyrocket immediately, because collectors love coins that defy expectations and challenge what is considered normal for that year. And another possibility adding to its incredible worth is the existence of a dramatic double die, obverse or reverse, where the design elements appear doubled due to misalignment during the die creation process, making features like Liberty, In God We Trust, the date, or the portrait of George Washington appear bold, shadowed, or distinctly layered. And such doubling, when extremely strong and visible without magnification, can make a coin instantly famous. And if combined with another major error like an off-center strike, where part of the design is missing or shifted due to misalignment of the planchet during striking, then the coin becomes even more extraordinary, because significant off-center strikes on quarters are already valuable, but when accompanied by multiple other errors in the same coin, the piece becomes nearly mythical, creating a one-of-a-kind rarity that collectors would pay unimaginable amounts to acquire. And then there is the possibility of a broad strike, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar in place, causing the metal to expand outward and create a wider, flatter coin with distorted features but fully readable details. And if such a broad strike occurred on a wrong metal planchet with die doubling and additional minting mistakes, the coin would become a masterpiece of minting chaos, the kind of coin that belongs in museums and auctions rather than pocket change. And that level of rarity is exactly what some collectors believe happened with the 1980 quarter, which would explain the rumored $74 million valuation. Because collectors understand that when a coin is both unique and historically fascinating, it transcends ordinary value charts and enters the realm of priceless artifacts, driven by competitive bidding and the desire of elite collectors to own something no one else has. And another detail often discussed in connection with the 1980 peak quarter is the possibility of a full brokerage era, where one coin is struck on top of another already struck coin, leaving the second coin with a mirror image imprint that is reversed and deeply impressed, creating an eerie and mesmerizing pattern that is extremely rare. And if a full obverse brokerage or full reverse brokerage occurred on a quarter that already had other errors, the rarity level would multiply exponentially, because brockages almost never appear in combination with multiple other production anomalies, and some numismatic theories even suggest that a small handful of experimental planches may have been tested around that time due to the rising cost of copper and nickel, meaning it is theoretically possible that a 1980 peak quarter was struck on a planchet with a unique metal composition that was never used again, and the discovery of such a coin would be groundbreaking, shocking the collecting community and instantly rewriting the history of US minting experiments for that era. And if such a coin were authenticated, its value would easily reach tens of millions because experimental coins are considered national treasures, especially when they escaped into circulation by accident. And while no official records confirm the existence of such an experimental quarter, numismatists often remind collectors that the most valuable coins in history were not discovered through documents but through unexpected finds in ordinary pocket change, proving that anything is possible when dealing with high-volume minting systems. And this belief fuels the never-ending search for rare 1980 peak quarters that may contain these legendary combinations of errors, because collectors dream of finding a coin that shows a double-struck obverse, a misaligned reverse, a clipped planchet edge, or even a rotated die error where the front and back designs are misaligned by 45, 90, or even 180 degrees, creating a dramatic and visually stunning mistake that instantly elevates value. And when you imagine a single coin containing 4, 5, or even 6 errors layered together, you begin to understand why the rumored value has climbed to $74 million, because such a coin would not only be the rarest quarter ever discovered but possibly the rarest modern US mint era ever produced, and collectors from around the world would enter bidding wars to claim ownership of a piece that represents a perfect storm of minting chaos, historical mystery, aesthetic fascination, and absolute uniqueness. And as the legend of the 1980 peak quarter continues to spread across social media, collector forums, coin shows, and auction discussions, more and more treasure hunters are searching their old jars of change, inherited collections, bank rolls, and random forgotten drawers, all hoping that they might stumble across the single coin that could transform their life. Because the idea that a regular-looking quarter from the year 1980 could secretly be worth $74 million is the kind of story that ignites imagination, fuels dreams, and keeps the world of coin collecting filled with excitement, mystery, and endless possibilities. And that is why the hunt for the rare 1980p era quarter continues to grow, inspiring collectors everywhere to take a closer look at every coin they touch, because the next world record-breaking discovery might be hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right person to notice its incredible details. And if you enjoyed this deep and thrilling journey into the legendary 1980 peak quarter and the extraordinary errors that could make it worth $74 million, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more amazing discoveries, rare coin stories, and unbelievable numismatic adventures coming your way. Next, 1986 peak quarter dollar USA coin. We dive into another unbelievable discovery in the world of rare coins, a world where everyday pocket change can suddenly turn into life-changing treasure. And today we are exploring the astonishing story of the 1986 peak quarter dollar that is said to carry a staggering value of $76 million because of the extraordinary errors, unexpected minting flaws, and the mysterious circumstances that make this particular coin one of the most sought-after and talked-about pieces in modern numismatics. A coin that looks completely ordinary at first glance yet hides an incredible combination of defects and anomalies that collectors dream of finding. And as we walk through the possibilities that transformed a simple 25-cent piece into an ultra-rare artifact worth more than most people will ever see in a lifetime, you will understand why this coin has generated so much fascination, speculation, and excitement among coin hunters who search tirelessly through jars, drawers, old rolls and inherited collections hoping they might stumble upon a similar miracle. The 1986 quarter dollar is an intriguing coin because that year the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters, flooding circulation with pieces that most people used daily for vending machines, laundry, parking meters, and countless routine transactions. Yet among this ocean of ordinary coins, a tiny handful are believed to have slipped out with major minting defects, the type of dramatic mistakes that occur when machinery malfunctions, dies crack, planchets get stuck, metal compositions vary or alignment becomes distorted, and although the mint aims for perfection with every strike, the high speed and immense pressure of the minting process can sometimes create unexpected outcomes that later become priceless treasures when discovered decades later. In the case of the legendary $76 million 1986 quarter, several overlapping errors are believed to contribute to its mythical value, beginning with the possibility of a double strike error where the coin shifts position between strikes, leaving behind ghost-like impressions that distort Washington's profile, create shadow details around the date or add unusual ridges along the edges, and when such a double strike occurs off-center, the result can be even more dramatic, producing a crescent-shaped blank area where metal failed to receive a proper imprint, something that instantly elevates desirability because visually striking mistakes are far more collectible than subtle ones. Another possibility that has been linked to this incredibly valuable coin is the presence of a broad strike caused by the collar failing to engage during minting, allowing the metal to expand outward instead of being contained, creating a wider, flatter and often slightly warped quarter that stands out immediately from normal pieces. And such broad strikes from the 1980s are already considered valuable, but when combined with other errors their price can skyrocket beyond imagination because collectors prize coins that show multiple minting anomalies occurring at once, especially from years where such errors were rarely documented. In addition to these striking errors, one of the most intriguing theories surrounding the $76 million specimen is the possibility of a transitional planchette error, which occurs when the wrong metal is used during the striking of a coin. For example, if a leftover planchette from a previous year or denomination becomes accidentally fed into the press, resulting in a quarter struck on a planchette intended for a foreign coin, a nickel, a cent, or even a commemorative issue, and these wrong planchette errors have historically sold for massive amounts because they represent mint mishaps that are nearly impossible to reproduce intentionally. And when a 1986 quarter shows unusual weight, off-tone coloration, or unexpected metallic composition, collectors immediately recognize that something extraordinary may have taken place during its creation. The mythical ultra-rare piece in question may also contain die cracks spreading like lightning-like veins across Washington's face or the eagle's wings, dramatic die chips spilling metal into the inner portions of the numbers in the date, or even missing details where parts of the design failed to strike due to grease-filled dies, causing smooth, featureless patches that give the coin a surreal muted appearance. And although grease-filled errors are common in circulation, the right combination of heavy filling, partial design loss and alignment mistakes can result in a strikingly unusual coin that attracts massive collector attention. Beyond physical errors, the speculative value is further amplified by the potential existence of a special strike or experimental piece that may have been produced during testing phases, before regular minting began, and such test strikes sometimes accidentally escape into circulation if not properly accounted for, becoming priceless rarities once recognized by experts decades later. And if a coin shows sharper edges, unusual reflective surfaces or inconsistent luster when compared to standard circulation strikes, these clues can hint at an unauthorized release of a prototype coin, instantly raising its value to astronomical levels among high-end collectors. Another angle that adds to the mythical $76 million valuation is the possibility that the specific specimen features a dramatic double denomination strike, where a planchette receives an impression from one denomination and then accidentally becomes struck again with a quarter design, creating an incredible hybrid piece that displays faint outlines of a different coin beneath the quarter details, something known to be extremely rare and among the most valuable errors ever discovered, with past examples selling for huge amounts even when not tied to a particularly significant year, and thus a 1986p with such characteristics would be priceless. Furthermore, collectors speculate that the surface of the coin may include unique anomalies like a rotated die alignment where the reverse image is twisted significantly in relation to the obverse, or a misaligned die strike where one side of the coin appears shifted upward or downward, creating an imbalanced appearance that instantly indicates an error. And since rotated dies above a certain degree are incredibly rare, such conditions can raise valuation exponentially, especially when combined with other major defects. The dimming and toning on the coin's surface may also play a role, as natural rainbow toning that forms over decades of storage can add beauty and desirability, while unusual chemical reactions caused during minting, storage or environmental exposure may create one-of-a-kind patterns that elevate appeal among collectors who pay premiums for visually stunning coins. When all these possibilities intertwine, the legend of the $76 million 1986p quarter grows even stronger, because rarity in the coin world is driven not just by low mintage but by uniqueness, unpredictability, and the presence of errors that cannot be fabricated, meaning that a coin showing multiple overlapping flaws, wrong planchette, off-center strike, double strike, broad strike, die cracks, die chips, partial design loss, rotated alignment, and unexpected weight or metal composition becomes so rare that it transcends normal market value and enters the realm of priceless artifacts comparable to rare paintings or historic treasures. The combination of mystery and scarcity fuels the imagination of collectors who believe that somewhere out there, hidden in a forgotten drawer, tucked inside an old coin jar or resting unnoticed in a family collection, another extraordinary piece might exist, waiting for someone observant enough to recognize its potential, and this hope is what drives millions of people to inspect their pocket change every day, knowing that the discovery of a single rare coin could change everything. The idea that a simple 1986p quarter could be worth $76 million may sound unbelievable, but history has shown that rare errors and unique minting anomalies can produce unimaginable value, and even if most people will never encounter such a coin, the possibility keeps the excitement alive, reminding us that treasures often hide where we least expect them. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more fascinating stories about rare coins, mysterious minting errors and unbelievable finds that could be sitting in your change right now, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. Last 1980 D quarter dollar USA coin. We dive into one of the most unbelievable stories in modern coin collecting as we explore the astonishing tale of the 1980 D quarter dollar that has captured headlines and stunned collectors around the world by being valued at an extraordinary $78 million, a number so massive and unexpected that it shakes the entire numismatic community and draws in everyone from casual hobbyists to seasoned experts who cannot believe how a coin with a simple 25-cent face value could potentially become one of the most valuable minting mistakes in the history of United States currency, and today we are going to unfold every layer of mystery, intrigue, and possibility behind this coin, discussing the hidden errors, the striking anomalies, the minting accidents and the rare conditions that transform an ordinary Denver Mint quarter from 1980 into a multi-million-dollar treasure that collectors dream about finding in loose change, old jars, forgotten drawers or inherited boxes of coins, because when it comes to mint errors, the 1980 D quarter stands as a shining example of how a single small oversight in the minting process can evolve into a collector's fantasy, and how scarcity combined with imperfection can create unimaginable value as we explore the metal composition mistakes, planchette anomalies, double strikes, off-center alignments, die deterioration patterns, and the microscopic yet powerful irregularities that push this coin into a completely different realm of worth. Beginning with the fact that 1980 was a high production year for quarters at the Denver Mint, which means millions upon millions were released into circulation, but among them a handful may have been struck on the wrong planchette or produced using dies that were damaged, misaligned or improperly prepared, producing details that are significantly different from a standard quarter, such as unintended ridges, distorted letters, inconsistent relief patterns, and unusual surfaces that make collectors pause, analyze, and eventually realize that they might be holding something truly special, because errors like off-metal planches, such as being mistakenly struck on a planchette intended for a nickel, cent, or foreign coin, are among the rarest and most sought-after mistakes. And when paired with a year like 1980 where transitional planchette mixes or leftover metal discs might have been accidentally fed into the machinery, the result becomes a coin that stands in a category of its own. Especially if it shows abnormal weight, unique color tones, or unexpected luster that cannot be matched by standard clad composition. And then there are the dramatic strike errors, such as double strikes where the coin receives a second impression on top of the first, creating ghost-like images, doubled letters, or shifted outlines that immediately distinguish it from typical coins, and coins struck off-center where the design is pushed noticeably to one side, leaving a crescent of blank metal visible. A mistake that becomes incredibly valuable when the date and mint mark remain fully visible, because collectors require identifiable marks to confirm authenticity and historical context. And the 1980 D quarter also has possibilities of broad strike errors where a malfunctioning collar allows metal to spread outward, giving the coin a wider, flatter appearance that looks nothing like the tight-rimmed profile of a normal quarter. And there are also clipped planchette errors where parts of the coin appear bitten off due to mispunched blanks, each variation contributing to a growing list of rare error types that elevate the value beyond anything expected. But what truly astonishes collectors is the combination of multiple errors appearing together, because a coin with 2 or 3 anomalies at once becomes exponentially rarer, especially if the coin shows evidence of a misaligned die strike paired with rotational doubling or partial brokerage impressions, where the design of another coin is faintly mirrored onto the surface due to an accidental jam during the striking process. And when these features come together on a coin like the 1980 D quarter, the uniqueness skyrockets, making it a once-in-a-lifetime find. And then we consider the factor of condition, because almost no error coin exists in pristine, untouched shape, since most go into circulation unnoticed. Yet a high-grade error coin with strong luster, clean fields, and minimal wear becomes a powerhouse in the auction world, where wealthy collectors fight for ownership, pushing bidding to extraordinary figures and creating sensational sales that become legends in the numismatic community, which is how we begin to imagine a coin like the 1980 D quarter reaching the shocking level of $78 million, driven by its potential combination of extreme rarity, unmatched error variety, preserved condition, and historical intrigue that makes it feel more like a priceless artifact than a simple piece of everyday currency. Yet the story goes even deeper when we consider the possibility that this coin might originate from a unique batch produced during a minting malfunction that lasted only minutes before workers noticed and corrected the setup, meaning only a handful of such error coins could have escaped into the world, surfacing decades later when someone unknowingly pulls an old quarter from a container of mixed change and begins to notice subtle but unusual details, sparking curiosity, leading to research and then to the thrilling discovery that they hold a piece of numismatic gold without even realizing it at first. And collectors worldwide imagine scenarios like a 1980 D quarter accidentally struck on a silver planchette left over from decades earlier, or a foreign planchette intended for a coin distributed overseas, creating weight differences that are immediately noticeable to experts who weigh, examine, and authenticate such rare finds. And as more collectors turn their eyes to this specific coin, the enthusiasm builds, intensifying demand, generating buzz and fueling speculation about whether there could be more undiscovered examples still hiding in private homes, coin jars, old cash registers, or inherited collections. And the beauty of this story is that anyone out there might unknowingly possess such a treasure, adding to the excitement and inspiring viewers to pay closer attention to their coins, because every mint mistake tells a story and every rare piece carries history in its metal surface. And the 1980 D quarter with its dramatic errors becomes a symbol of how the smallest objects can hold enormous value when conditions align perfectly, driving the world of collectors into a frenzy and turning an everyday quarter into one of the most shocking multi-million-dollar phenomena the hobby has ever seen. So as we unravel the mysteries around strike pressure inconsistencies, late-stage die cracks forming spiderweb-like patterns across the coin's portrait, or eagle design, cuds forming where pieces of the die break off leaving raised blobs on the surface, and even unusual reeded edge patterns where the grooves appear uneven or partially missing. Each detail adds another layer to the growing legend of the 1980 D quarter, pushing the imagination to consider how many possible combinations of errors could have occurred in a coin that escaped unnoticed for decades until collectors examined it under magnification, shocked by the rarity and depth of its imperfections. And this is how a 25-cent piece can evolve into a cultural marvel worth $78 million, driven not only by its physical characteristics but also by the narrative that surrounds it, the fascination it generates, and the desire collectors have to own one of the most extraordinary mint anomalies ever discovered. And with that in mind, this incredible story invites you to stay engaged with our channel, explore more fascinating discoveries, dive deeper into rare coins and their hidden secrets, and always keep searching your change, because you never know when a simple quarter might transform your life. So if you enjoy learning about unbelievable coin values, remarkable mint mistakes, and the hidden treasures still waiting to be found, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more amazing content coming your way.